If you wanted to design an alien, you'd have a hard time beating an animal that already exists in our oceans. It has 3 hearts. Its blood is blue, not red. Its brain is shaped like a donut, and the rest of its mind, around 2/3 of it, isn't in its head at all. It's spread out through 8 arms, and each one of those arms can taste, feel, and make decisions almost on its own. This is the octopus. And the reason scientists keep coming back to it isn't just that it's weird. It's that the octopus is, as far as we can tell, an intelligence that evolved completely separately from ours, on a different branch of life, hundreds of millions of years ago. It's the closest thing we have to studying an alien mind, without ever leaving the planet. By the end of this video, you won't just know the facts. You'll start to question what a mind even is. Let's start with the plumbing, because even that is strange. An octopus has not 1 heart, but 3. 2 of them are dedicated to the gills, pumping blood through them to pick up oxygen. The 3rd pumps that oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. And here's a detail biologists love. When an octopus swims, that main heart actually stops beating. Swimming literally tires it out at the circulatory level, which is part of why octopuses usually prefer to crawl. Then there's the blood itself. Yours is red because it carries oxygen using hemoglobin, which is built around iron. The octopus uses a different molecule entirely, hemocyanin, which is built around copper. Copper turns the blood blue. This isn't a random quirk. Hemocyanin is far better than our iron-based blood at carrying oxygen in cold, low-oxygen deep water. So the octopus's alien blue blood is actually a precision tool for surviving in the dark, frigid parts of the ocean where our kind of blood would struggle. Now for the part that genuinely breaks people's intuition. An octopus has around 500 million neurons, putting it in the same broad league as a dog. But here's the twist. Only about 1/3 of those neurons are in its central brain. The other 2/3 are distributed down its 8 arms. Each arm has its own rich cluster of nerve cells, effectively a mini brain. This means an octopus arm can do things on its own. It can reach into a crevice, feel around, taste what it touches, and decide whether to grab or recoil, without waiting for instructions from the central brain. Researchers have watched severed octopus arms, in a lab setting, still react and reach for food. The central brain sets the goal, get that crab, but it can delegate the messy details to the arms and let them figure it out locally. Think about what that means. This is intelligence that isn't centralized the way ours is. It's more like a committee of 9, 1 central mind and 8 semi-independent ones, all in a single animal. Here's where the octopus stops being merely strange and starts being almost unbelievable. Your genes are basically fixed instructions. DNA gets copied into RNA, and RNA builds proteins, faithfully, like a printer following a file. The octopus cheats. Octopuses and their cephalopod relatives are masters of something called RNA editing. They can rewrite their own RNA on the fly, changing the proteins their cells build without changing the underlying DNA at all. And they do this constantly, especially in their nervous system. One striking example: octopuses can edit the RNA in their nerve cells to help those nerves keep working in colder water, essentially tuning their own neurons to the temperature around them in real time. Most animals, including us, almost never do this. The octopus does it routinely. The trade-off is fascinating. All that RNA editing may have slowed down their DNA evolution, because their genome has to stay stable to support the editing. They gave up some long-term genetic flexibility for incredible short-term, real-time adaptability. It's a completely different strategy for being alive. Octopuses are the best camouflage artists on Earth. In under a second, an octopus can change not just its color, but its texture and pattern, mimicking coral, sand, a rock, even another animal. Beneath their skin are millions of tiny color-changing cells called chromatophores, each one a sac of pigment that muscles can expand or shrink, plus layers of cells that reflect and scatter light. They can produce moving waves of color across their skin like a living screen. And now the paradox that keeps scientists up at night. As far as we can tell, octopuses are colorblind. Their eyes have only one type of light receptor, which should make them unable to see color at all. So how does a colorblind animal perfectly match the colors of its surroundings? One leading idea is genuinely wild, that octopuses may sense light and color through their skin itself. Their skin contains the same light-detecting proteins found in eyes. In other words, an octopus might, in a sense, see with its whole body, bypassing its colorblind eyes entirely. We're still not sure. An animal that watches the world through its skin is still partly a mystery to us. All of this strange hardware adds up to behavior that looks unmistakably like thinking. In labs, octopuses open child-proof jars to reach food, sometimes from the inside. They navigate mazes. They learn to solve puzzle boxes, and they remember the solution. They recognize and behave differently toward individual human keepers, being friendly to one and squirting water at another they apparently dislike. In the wild, some octopuses collect coconut shells and carry them around to assemble into portable shelters later, one of the clearest examples of tool use in any invertebrate. They've been filmed sneaking out of their tanks at night, crossing dry floor, raiding a neighboring tank for a snack, and sneaking back before morning. This is curiosity, planning, and mischief in an animal as far from us on the tree of life as you can get while still having a complex brain. The octopus shows that big, flexible intelligence didn't evolve only once in our ancestors. It evolved at least twice, on totally separate paths. There's a poignant side to all this brilliance. Most octopuses live fast and die young, often only 1 to 2 years. And their intelligence is largely self-taught. A mother octopus typically guards her eggs without eating and dies around the time they hatch. The young drift off completely alone, with no parent to learn from. So every octopus essentially has to bootstrap its own intelligence from scratch in a single short lifetime, with no culture, no teaching, no inherited knowledge passed down. That makes their problem-solving even more remarkable. They aren't repeating tricks taught by elders, the way a young crow or chimp might. They're improvising, alone, in real time. It also raises a haunting question. If an octopus lived for decades instead of a couple of years and could pass knowledge to its young, what might that intelligence become? We may be looking at a mind that evolution never gave the time to fully unfold. So here's where we land. The octopus is not just a clever animal. It's a proof of concept. It shows that intelligence did not have to look like ours, didn't have to be centralized in one skull, didn't have to run on red blood and fixed genes. Nature found a completely different design, a distributed mind partly living in its arms, blue blood tuned for the deep, genes it can rewrite on demand, and a body that may see through its skin, and that design produced curiosity, memory, and problem-solving anyway. When we ask what alien intelligence might be like, we don't actually have to imagine. We have a working example, breathing in our oceans, watching us back. The octopus tells us the universe probably has more than one answer to the question of what thinking is. Now, an octopus stretches what a mind can be. But there is an animal so tough it stretches what survival itself can be, an animal that has been boiled, frozen near absolute zero, blasted with radiation, and taken on an actual trip into the vacuum of space, and lived. That's the next FactDrop deep dive. Go meet the toughest animal in the known universe.